Deep philosophy, philosophy from our inner depth. Hello, Alejandro.
Hello, Ran.
You are a member of the Deep Philosophy group, and in fact, you're also a facilitator. You facilitate groups, you lead groups in contemplation, and you do it in English, and you also do it in Spanish. And the text that you chose for today is a text by a quite unknown Dutch philosopher from the 20th century, Willem Zuurdeeg. I hope that I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He didn't write much, but he has one wonderful book, really a very nice book that is unfortunately not very well known. And there he talks about the human cry. By this he means that philosophy is a human cry, that philosophy is not this abstract knowledge or analysis that touches nobody. Philosophy comes from a deep concern about life. I wonder, Alejandro, how did these ideas touch you in a personal way?
Well, it is particularly the word cry. That was kind of a surprise for me the first time I read it, because cry is not something that we usually read in a philosophical book. But when I continue reading and understanding what is involved in a cry, why people cry, what crying can create in us, I start to think on what is my philosophical concern, what is that thing that really touches me, why I prefer some topics rather than others, and start to identify that deep emotion, and realizing that all the philosophical exercise that I do is in a certain way a crying.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That this text made you think about your life and find this concern, the deep concern, the yearning, the cry in your own life that pushes you to do philosophy. Is there some particular sentence in the text that touched you especially?
Sure. It says, philosophy is born in a cry. The fountain of philosophizing is not called abstract intellectualizing, but a deep and passionate concern about life and its meaning.
So the fountain of philosophy
Yes.
is not cold and abstract intellectualizing. And you say that you find it in yourself too, that that's not the fountain of philosophy.
Yeah. Yes, that's important for me, because when I studied at the university, they teach philosophy in a very different way. So I was disconnected from this deep concern.
Yeah.
It was not part of me, but after the university, when you are not studying philosophy, but you start to do your own philosophical exercise, you need to be connected with that fountain.
Yeah.
You cannot only be repeating and repeating and doing an analytical exercise. So this connection, this fountain, this source of philosophizing, I think is important to understand, to recognize.
So this fountain is a creative fountain. It gives you a power.
There's a sentence that says, not only is an authentic cry a bird, and not only is it necessary, but when a person cries, power is liberated. The power of life and creativity of the deepest self. When we start to live as the person we really are, we start to connect to our essence, to say in some way, to our real self,
So this is connected to the expression. It's a beautiful sentence, and indeed the text in general is beautiful. So the power of life and creativity of the deepest self, what you said, the authenticity. Can you share, to the extent it's not too intimate, can you share some experience where you feel that philosophy gave you the ability to express your deeper self?
Sure, I can. It was particularly in a text of Levinas,
Mhm.
when he's talking about this edge between oneself and the other, and that it is impossible to have like overcome this edge. There is always some space between one and the other. And well, that touches me because several times in my life, I have felt like disconnected with other people and tried to establish a connection, being part of a group. Uh, and when I read this of Levinas, well, it was like a cry. It was feeling identified with that and understanding it won't disappear, and someone else have seen that. I think that Levinas also feel this yearning to be connected with others, but a certain degree of impossibility to that connection.
So the text in your example, in your beautiful example, not only reflects on your situation, but also calls you to do something about it. It inspires you to, in this case, to overcome the distance between me and others.
Sure. And that is another thing where I connected with Levinas, because even when we both recognize that impossibility, that is not a reason to give up and forget about the others.
Yeah.
It's like an invitation to try to be in a society, to have an ethical life with others, to take them in consideration, even when there is always some distance between us.
So a text, a philosophical text, managed to express this yearning, this cry in you, which is what Zuurdeeg is telling us. Thank you very much, Alejandro, for your sharing.
Thank you, Joran.
Bye-bye.